Happy Fragrant Friday, fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new, you got it, review. How are you doing? Welcome to this weekend, and if you're watching this and it's not a Friday, you know, here at TCG, oh yeah, it is always a Friday, my friends. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, positive, and healthy during this seemingly never-ending pandemic. And welcome to this episode. Before I dive in on the notes and the actual review, I want to quickly welcome all the new subscribers since last Friday. You know, since last Friday, we have had an absolute stampede of new subscribers. Welcome aboard to my humble channel, That Cologne Guy. My name is Ben. I have new content every single Friday. And I just really enjoy doing single fragrance reviews like this one. I love the top 10s. I love the subscriber offered themes for episodes. I just love doing episodes every single week, and I really appreciate you supporting my channel. I am, of course, fiercely independent in my review. I'm not sponsored, and of course, unbiased, and I am a bit cranky, so I have a thorough and persnickety review of each fragrance. I prefer to give a thorough critique of these fragrances. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like the content, make sure you pass it on to your fellow frag heads. Let's dive in, shall we? So when I first started doing these episodes, I have to say, I would say let's dive in, and I looked down and it was about the 7-8 minute mark. So I'm finally getting to the point when I'm starting when I really should be starting. We've danced around the topic long enough, my friends. You've seen the title and the description, so you know it's coming. Oh yeah, it's time. It is time. Long overdue, I finally got a bottle of Jaipur, par Homme, par Boucheron. I'm feeling the French vibe today. All right, so this normally would be in December where I say happy holidays to you, and I'm going to say that. Happy holidays to you and yours during this incredibly special time of the year. But of course at TCG, it is always Subscriber Brian Appreciation Month, because yet again, Subscriber Brian has sent me a brand spanking new bottle. You're thinking, okay, no, and you're thinking, that's fine. You know, he brushed off the dust, and he sent a few things that he didn't want. No, these actually came brand spanking new, and I really, really appreciate that. I know I said it before, and I'll say it next week. I am genuinely touched, though, by the gesture. I really am, especially for this one, because a few weeks ago, and I'll mention it here, so a few weeks ago, I did an episode on my future purchases, and I mentioned that Jaipur was on my list of I really need to buy this as soon as possible, and I finally have a bottle thanks to him. I will go ahead and let you know too, next week's episode is going to be Jaipur EDT, because he bought me that bottle as well. So good news abounds, my friends. This one is, of course, the EDP, Eau de Parfum. So here's the deal. Here's the background behind this one. You guys, if you follow my channel, know that I love cinnamon as a note, and it's one of those rare things. You probably can think of fragrances that you personally like and you've received no comments on. There are certain notes I love, and I haven't received any compliments, and I'm fine with that. I don't wear them for compliments, of course, but it is nice. Cinnamon is one of those rare kind of triple victories for me, because I love cinnamon. Cinnamon does well with my body's chemistry, and then it also garners a lot of compliments. So on base notes and Fragrantica, I asked a few questions about, can you recommend your favorite cinnamon-based fragrance? And of course, Costume National kept coming up. I bought that one, and I absolutely love that fragrance. But on that list that many people recommended was Jaipur. This kept coming up. I think it was like second or third place, actually. But Costume National was the first one. So I bought that. Kept this in mind, though, and really thought, I need to get this fragrance eventually. And now I finally have it. So this came up for a lot of people who love cinnamon, and that's why I wanted originally to get this fragrance. So that's the backstory. Now let's talk a little bit about, actually, no, not even a little bit. Let's talk about nomenclature, because this is more important than previous episodes. So first and foremost, the house is Boucheron, right? Looks like Boucheron. And Boucheron, of course, is known most for fine jewelry. At least when I think of Boucheron, I think of fine jewelry. Then I think of fragrance. I like Boucheron pour Homme, by the way, if you haven't tried that one. And this one is by that house. First and foremost, known for fine jewelry. And then, of course, in the fragrance community, we will know them more for perfume, but that goes without saying. Now, let's take a look at the name, though. The name is Jaipur. Right, Jaipur. So in French it would be Jaipur, and you can see it has an umlaut right there, and that gives it the y sound. So this is Jaipur. So in French it would be Jaipur, and you might think, well, what does that mean? So Jaipur in French, and then people typically say in English Jaipur, is what I've heard the most. Jaipur, again, trying to get as close as possible to the French pronunciation. But what's interesting to note is Jaipur is a city in India. So I did some investigating, and here's what I found. Jaipur is in Rajasthan, and I have a map. Hopefully here, I'll do the finger dance just in case. Sometimes I have to put it on one side or not the other, depending. I have a map here. So that is the state of Rajasthan, which is the largest in terms of square mileage state in the country of India. So what's interesting about that is the capital city is, correct, Jaipur. And Jaipur has 3 million people in it, and I think it's the 10th largest city in India. So this Jaipur is in reference to a city. Now, Raja in Hindi, Raja means king. So Rajasthan means the land of kings. That's the state. And then the capital city is Jaipur. So this is an homage to India and all of its spices and beautiful aromas. So a lot going on here, isn't it? Now, actually, I have even more for you. So if you look at this picture here, then you'll see that Jaipur has a lot of pink buildings, and its nickname is the Pink City. So you're thinking, okay, then that means the bottle will be pink, and you would be dead wrong. I will talk about that in a little bit, but I was a little bit surprised. It is known as the Pink City because many of the buildings, as you can see here, are pink. Not all, though. It looks to be a beautiful city. I've never been there, but I wanted to mention that because that's what it's known for. So that's the name, that's the house, and that's what's going on here. This is a 1997 EDP. So this week is the EDP. Eau de Parfum, and then next week I'll look at the EDT. Curious to note is the EDP came out before the EDT. Interesting. So this is a 1997. This is an amber spicy, but most people say oriental spicy for this fragrance. It is an amber spicy in terms of its category, but oftentimes it will be referred to as an oriental spicy. And it's by one of my favorite parfumers, Anik Monardo. You know, I mean, when it comes to getting the most bang for your buck, is there anyone better? Is she the best parfumer? No, because you know who it is, and it's Alberto Morillas, and you agree, and you've said that. You've even texted and let me know that. So everyone agrees that. She is in my top 5. I really appreciate Anik Monardo's work. And what I love about her work is, well, two things. Number one is I really love what she does as far as packing in the most amount of smell and technique without charging a whole lot. I know she doesn't have anything to say about that. I know it depends if it's designer or niche, but a lot of her fragrances can be purchased for incredibly cheap, just like this one, and yet they smell just out of this world. So what more do you want? If you are on a tight budget, you should go to fragrantica.com and then look under Annick Ménardo and check out her work, because a lot of her fragrances can be had at a very cheap price. So for those of us on a limited budget, I have, of course, a soft spot for Annick Ménardo and her work. So when it comes to this fragrance, you can see here, this is the box. I don't have too much to say about the box, really. I mean, it's nice, but I really don't have too much to say about the box itself, other than the batch code is on the box alone. That is to say, the batch code is not on the bottle, it's just on the box. So I guess if you ever got a bottle on eBay without the box, be careful there, because you wouldn't be able to check the batch code. Speaking of the batch code, I checked. You can see here, this is 06L18L088. There you have it right there. And that is the batch of the 28th of March, 2020. So this is a 2020 batch code. I have not smelled the original, so it is quite possible that this is a watered down version, but I want you to know this is the 2020 batch. And that is relevant, because if it's not, from the 90s or an original bottle, then it's perhaps watered down. And that will come in, that'll be more relevant when I talk about longevity in just a little bit. So let's take a look at the bottle. As I said earlier, the bottle is gorgeous. The bottle is absolutely gorgeous. I will say it's not pink though. Yeah, and I knew you'd do that. I have to dock some points. I know. Look, Anchorage was a tough crowd. Winnipeg was a tough crowd. Dallas didn't go easy on me. I knew this would be a tough call. I knew you would boo me for that, but I have to say it. This bottle I thought would have been pink. Pink City, Jaipur, whatever pronunciation you have. I really thought the bottle should be pink. I think I know why, though, because obviously if it's a pink bottle marketed towards men, a lot of guys would not want to have that in their collection. Or simply put, there might just be confusion in terms of whether or not it's a perfume. By the way, I will say the women's bottle, which is blue, if I'm not mistaken, is equally as stunning, though. So I would have liked a pink bottle, but I knew I would get booed for that. Mercilessly. This is a gorgeous bottle. One of the things about the millennial companies, right? The millennial hipsters want to do the whole minimalism thing. Do you see why I don't necessarily like that? I mean, would you want to have this in your bathroom for when guests come over? And the answer is yes, you would. This is a beautiful bottle. It's perfect to show off. The top is a tad cheap. Okay, I will say that the jewel is a little, it's plastic and it's a little cheap. When it came first, it was actually a jar and I had to snap it back in place. But I am just being nit picky. And then after that, it really gets amazing, because as you can see here, we have frosted glass. The letters are not embossed in the bottle, but the Boucheron is, if you notice right there. See that? I like that touch. And then I just love the fact that it's frosted glass, but then it has clear right where the words are. And so it says Jaipur, Homme, Eau de Parfum, Boucheron, Paris. And it's so clear, and it just helps you even see the juice that much more. I love the fact that it has a beautiful cap mixed with frosted glass, mixed with a clear section for the words. So pretty much a home run here, with the one exception. I would have liked pink, but I understand that. Just take a look. I will say, too, not that they thought about this, maybe they did, but it's extremely ergonomic. So when you want to spray, look, it just fits right in your hand. I absolutely love that. And while I have it in my hand, let's go ahead and do the spray and check out the atomizer. Absolutely fantastique. I love the atomizer. It's perfect when it comes to the amount that it sprays. Aha, and now it smells just like Jaipur in this room. So almost a grand slam. In baseball terms, I would put this as a home run, almost a grand slam, just because, again, of the color. But look at it. I mean, it looks like a palace. It looks like this is the front door, and this is a palace. It also looks like jewelry, and it just looks refined and distinguished. And a word that's going to come up a lot in this episode: classy. So absolutely love the name, the bottle, what they're trying to do here, the parfumé, the price point. You can find this at discounters anywhere from like $28 to $35 for a 100 milliliter 3.4 ounce. That is outstanding. Whatever you do not go to places like Macy's or Neiman Marcus and buy this for $125. This can be had easily for $30, and that is much like La Ligue pour Homme, which is 125 milliliter actually. Those are just outstanding deals. You can really smell fantastic on the cheap. So if you are on a limited budget and you're not going to be dropping $400 for Creed, then by all means check this one out. Okay, so when it comes to the notes, though, let me just say I'll say a few notes, but then I'm going to tell you the overall feel for it. So we've got lemon, cinnamon. People have said cloves or nutmeg, so I think it's a combination of the two. Vanilla, some woods. Here's what I get, though. I get a strong lemon vanilla, which is in the base actually, and the lemon is the top note and vanilla is in the base. But I get a combination of lemon, vanilla with a little bit of cardamom and cloves and cinnamon, a little bit of cardamom and cloves, and then a fair amount of cinnamon. That said, this is not, in my estimation, a cinnamon-dominant fragrance. I would call this more a lemon and vanilla fragrance that has cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg and cardamom in it. So I was a little surprised because I thought, when you think of, for those of us who cook Indian food and just love Indian food, when you think of the plethora of spices, oh wow, I love walking into the restaurants and smelling all the spices. Turmeric, cumin, you would have thought that this fragrance would have had a ton of Indian spices. So that's one other thing that I was a little bit surprised by, and again, I knew you'd do that too. It is a little bit linear. That said, though, that's where the bad news stops, because this one really is a lemon, baby powder, and cinnamon mix. And there's a strong baby powder element to the EDP. I have not smelled the EDT yet, so that's coming next week. But the EDP has a very, very strong, at least on my skin, baby powder, and the lemon and the vanilla are quite strong. And then the cinnamon is there clearly, and then the cloves, the nutmeg, and the cardamom kind of lurk in the background. And that's it's got woodsy notes, but I'm not really seeing that so much. Quite honestly, for me, it's more of a clean lemon scent in the beginning, the kind that after you clean your kitchen, and with lemon cleaning products. But I mean that in the best possible way. Not to say that there's a chemical smell, but it does smell like that. It smells like a very clean kitchen if you've used lemon scented chemicals or cleaning products. Followed by a very, very strong baby powder smell, and then followed by this kind of vanilla element with the cinnamon and the spices. So I do like it. I was a little bit surprised by some of the spices that were missing, but that again, I still love the fragrance in the end. Okay, so in terms of projection, longevity, and sillage, projection is going to be about an arm's length away for the first 2 hours, and then from 2 to 8, it's going to really settle down and get close to the skin. This is, for longevity, a 6 to 8 hour fragrance. I would have liked a little bit more for an EDP, quite frankly. I have a sneaky suspicion that it's been watered down over the years. That said, It is closer to 6 than it is to 8, so I don't normally say this, but feel free to spray away on this one. Actually, don't go easy on the trigger. I think if you sprayed a little bit more, it'll be good for you, because if you're looking to get an 8-hour work shift out of this, you will need some help along the way. So spray on your clothes or just simply apply more sprays to it to get you to the finish line. When it comes to projection, you're looking at an arm's length away for the first 2 hours, and then after that it starts to settle in and get close to the skin. So this would be a good choice for a romantic night out, as it would be The Office. So, and then sillage would be coming in and out of rooms. I'd be careful with this one because it is incredibly pleasant, but as I said, it does dissipate after the 2-hour mark. So if you're looking to wear this and get compliments coming in and out of rooms at parties, things like that, some sort of event, I think you would want to make sure that you put a fair amount of fragrance on, or even try to get it where you put it on almost right before you go to the event, because after the 2-hour mark, it's really going to start to settle in close to your skin. So spray on your clothes if that's the case. Okay, so when it comes to gender, I actually find this one, because of the vanilla and baby powder element, I find this one to be quite unisex. If I had to really put a number, I think maybe it's just slightly over into the masculine category. So again, if this is feminine for our lucky scent continuum, this is high tech here that we have at that Cologne guy. We have feminine, unisex, and masculine. I'd put it probably right here. It's just a tad off into the masculine side. Definitely a classic masculine, though, gentleman scent. Nowhere near bad boy black leather jacket shades, etc., etc. Not at all, not even close. This one is definitely for the classy gentleman, and I could see a woman easily pulling this one off. And I don't mean the women's perfume version, I mean this exact Boucheron Jaipur pour Homme. I see this as a 65-35. I think 65% of the people who actually went out and bought this, wanted this, have this as a signature scent, will be men, and 35% will be women. I do like it a lot, and as I said, I think I would imagine this would smell wonderful on a woman's skin. Okay, so in terms of age, this is an easy one, 35 and up. This one does harken back to the gentleman sense of the late 80s and early 90s, and it's going to be off-putting possibly to a lot of guys in their 20s. If you're looking for a clubbing scent, this one's just not going to be the one for you. It's going to be a gentleman scent, and don't be surprised if some guys who are like 18 to 25 will even drop things like it smells like grandpa or grandpa-ish. Of course, I don't think that at all, but don't be surprised if some people say that, because it does have a very strong baby powder element to it. And it's not going to be a clubbing scent for guys in their 20s. 35 and up is what we're going to do for age. For season, it's relatively easy. We're looking at winter and fall for me. Although I did see on Fragrantica that one guy said that it does excellent in heat. So, maybe it is more all year round. I associate it more with fall and winter. Perhaps early spring. But I would probably leave it at that. We are in December right now while I'm filming, and this is a perfect time for me to wear that in my estimation. Okay, so in terms of event, I'm going to say this for me is more of a work scent. And what I love about that is this is the kind of fragrance that is extremely pleasing. I can't see anyone disliking it, but it's not a crowd pleaser in the sense that it smells just like everything else. It is a unique fragrance. What I love about it is it smells fantastic. You will get compliments, and it's not necessarily a daring scent in the sense that it could be off-putting to some people. It smells outstanding. You will get a lot of compliments, and deservedly so, because it is a great fragrance. I also think it's, like I said, it's incredibly unique, so people will remember you and associate you with this fragrance. So it's perfect if you want to stand out from the crowd. Very few fragrances can do that. They can get a ton of compliments. Everyone likes them, but they're also incredibly unique. So I tip my cap to Anik Monardo yet again. I also think this would be great for a romantic night in or out, for that matter, because it smells outstanding. For the first 2 hours, it's going to project a lot, And then as it gets closer and the night progresses and things become more intimate, then snuggles will abound, because this smells wonderful, inviting, pleasant, sensual, and again, really the word of this episode to me would be classy. There you have it. I finally got a bottle of Jaipur EDP Homme Boucheron 1997 Anik Monardo, cinnamon in it. What more do you want? This has been so much fun. In fact, my rating here is going to be incredibly easy. In fact, I feel like this is an example of what a 4 looks like. So let me tell you, in my system, I have a 5 spray rating system, and at the end, right now, I spray that number on me as my scent of the day. When I have a 4 or 5, I always know, because throughout the week, I really want to wear that fragrance. So what I mean to say is, if I'm wearing a 1, 2, or 3, and I know I'm going to review that week, usually there'll be one day where I might go back to something else that in my actual collection, maybe I'm not gravitating towards that fragrance that I'm reviewing every single day. If it's a 1, or if it's a 2, perhaps a 3. When it's a 4 or 5, I just can't wait to wear it every single day. And that is the case with Jaipur. I really, really love practically everything about this fragrance. And was it worth the wait? Absolutely, it was. It certainly did not disappoint at all. I really gravitated to this. I couldn't wait to wear it. And it's a 4 out of 5. I'm going to dock a point, because, again, I would have liked a pink bottle. I mean, it is called the Pink City. Come on. I would have liked a pink bottle, and I would have liked to have more Indian spices mixed in here with this to pay homage to the complexity of aromas that exist in Indian cuisine that is just truly exquisite. All right, so 4 out of 5 sprays for Anik Monardo's 1997 release, Jaipur. Here we go, 1 on each side of the neck, and let's go 1 on each wrist. And there you have it, folks. Another review by the boards. I have had so much fun reviewing this one, the EDP. Make sure you check out next week's episode, which is going to be the EDT version of this, released a year later. I'm not at all surprised that after 24 years, this is still going strong. It is a classic for sure. Always remember, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. I'm a huge fan of Indian food. In fact, what's interesting is Rajasthan also borders Gujarat, which is, if you've had Gujarati food, what's interesting is it's mostly vegetarian, but they do not eat onions or garlic as well. So that's interesting. Fantastic cuisine. I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to get off topic. And then my friend, by the way, is from he's from the region of Punjab, which also borders Rajasthan, and he said that it's Jaipur. So I did some investigating, and in Hindi, he speaks Punjabi, but in Hindi, it would be, in my limited understanding, Jaipur. So a lot going on with the name, but the bottom line is it is the capital city of the biggest state in terms of square mileage, or square kilometrage. I don't know if that's a word, but you get my point, in India. It borders Pakistan, so about 75% Hindi and 20-some percent Muslim, then of course with some Jains as well in terms of religion.